If you think Igbos are the problem, let them go. My name is Azuka Oje. I just watched Dr. Maduka Ogwueleka's video and it raised one question that Nigeria has been avoiding for 60 years. Let's play it first.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Maduka Ogwueleka. I'm going to make this video a very short one. And I have just one question. Why can't non-Igbo Nigerians allow the Igbos to go? Me, personally, completely fed up with this regular and continuous complaint against the Igbos in Nigeria. If you think the Igbos are the problem of Nigeria, then let them go. Malaysia did it with Singapore in 1964. Malaysia had to kick out Singapore. We used to be called Malaya as a country, but they had to separate. India also separated from Pakistan in 1947. So in the same way, nothing stops the Nigerian National Assembly to either organize the referendum or within themselves kick the Igbos out of Nigeria. You can't continue complaining against the Igbos year in, year out, year in, year out. Igbos make fake drugs. Igbos are criminals. Igbos are drug traffickers. Igbos are ritualists. Igbos are this. Igbos are that. If they are the ones setting Nigeria backwards, then allow them to go. You are in the majority in the National Assembly. Non-Igbo Nigerians are the majority in the National Assembly. So the Yorubas and the Hausa Fulanis, the thieves and so on, who don't like the Igbos, can organize themselves and kick the Igbos out of Nigeria. Why are they finding this so difficult to do? This is my question. Bye.
Did you hear him? He's tired. And let's be honest, that tiredness is real. Imagine you live in a compound with 4 families. Anytime light goes off, they say it is Igbo family. Anytime water is dirty, Igbo family. Anytime generator is noisy, Igbo family. Even when it's not them. After 10 years of that, what do you think will happen? That family will say, Oga, I beg, make we just pack, go our own house. That is what will happen. That is what Dr. Maduka is saying. Year in, year out. Igbos do fake drugs. Igbos do this. Igbos do that. Igbos are criminals. Igbos are ritualists. Now, are there criminals who are Igbos? The fact is yes. Are there criminals who are Hausa? Yes. Are there criminals who are Yoruba? Yes. Are there criminals who are TV, Ibibio, Ejos? Yes. Crime has no tribe. But when we give crime a tribe, we create a problem. He mentioned 2 countries, Malaysia and India. Let's break it down properly. Malaysia and Singapore, that was 1965. They were one country called Malaysia, but there were tension. Malays were majority. Chinese in Singapore felt marginalized. Then the political fights. So in August 1965, Malaysian parliament voted 126-0. They said, Singapore, you go. And Singapore left. Today, Malaysia is doing okay. And Singapore is doing excellent. No war, just a signature and separation. Let me give you another example. India and Pakistan, 1947. British left India. Muslims and Hindus couldn't agree on one country. So they divided. It was messy. That one, over 1 million people died. And about 15 million people displaced. So these 2 examples, one is peaceful, the other one is bloody. The difference is process and agreement. Dr. Maduka is saying, if we must separate, let's do the Malaysia style, not India style. Parliament, referendum, law, not war. That is what he's trying to say. Now let's address the elephant. 1967. Igbos tried to leave then. It was called Biafra. Federal government said no. War started. 3 years. Over 1 million, almost some people say 3 million died. Mostly from hunger. So when people hear, let Igbos go today, they remember 1967 and they panic. But Dr. Maduka is not talking about guns. He's talking about law. He said it. National Assembly, referendum, constitutional process. That's the difference between 1967 and 2026. 1967 was, we are going by force. 2026 question is, can we discuss going by law? Now here is where it gets tricky. Our 1999 constitution does not have a section that says this ethnic group can leave or this ethnic group can be kicked out. To do what Dr. Maduka is asking, the National Assembly will first have to amend this constitution. That means 2/3 of Senate or 2/3 of the House of Reps and 2/3 of the 36 state houses of assembly. And they have to agree. Do we even need the 36 state house of assembly? That's why politicians will say it is difficult. But difficult is not impossible. It is not impossible. Brexit was difficult. South Sudan referendum was difficult. But they did it because they decided to talk about it. So forget emotion. Let's ask the real question Dr. Maduka is asking. Can you force people to stay in a marriage where they are insulted every day? There are only 3 options. The first option is treat everybody as equal. Stop tribal profiling. Prosecute crime by individual, not by tribe. If you want to build your one Nigeria, meanwhile, a lot of people are not interested in that one Nigeria. Some it says it works for them, some say time has passed. Then here is option 2. There should be a constitutional conversation, a referendum, legal separation like Czechoslovakia in 1993, the velvet divorce, no blood. Then the third option, continue like this, daily insults, daily suspicion, daily us versus them, and in 10 years, the problem could be bigger. Which one makes sense to you? Check it out. So Dr. Maduka is not saying he hates Nigeria. He's saying he is tired of a Nigeria where one group is the permanent scapegoat. Malaysia and Singapore, separated and both are better. That is his point. So my question to you, should Nigeria open a constitutional debate about self-determination? Yes or no? Please comment with respect. No tribal insults. Your comment on the comment section. And if you want me to do a part 2 on what a referendum will look like legally, subscribe. We need to start talking about hard things before hard things start talking about us. I'll see you in the next one.